What is the spiritual path, the spiritual process? So much confusion and contradiction has arisen over this idea, which is so simple and so important, the most important, because in reality, it is the same as life itself. It is what life is. The spiritual process has nothing to do with illusion, hallucinations, or an escape from reality. It is precisely the opposite. The spiritual process is the path of deepening and intensifying life. It is the path of diving, exploring, uniting and dissolving into the essence of existence. Let's start by looking a little deeper at the main constituents of our world. Minerals are forms of existence whose qualities of weight, hardness, resistance, difficult mutability, well-defined limits allow them to manifest, to function in the world in ways that go no further than basic reflexes. Only great or long-lasting forces of pressure and temperature cause the phenomena of the mineral world to change. Minerals are the materialized representatives of the solid world, the earth element, matter. This is what the mineral is, its expression, its function, its role in the world. As Rudolf Steiner said, through the world of minerals, existence is. In the realm of plants, these qualities begin to become more flexible. There is the beginning of opposition to gravity. There is malleability and mutability. Plants communicate and exchange with the outer phenomena around them in more and faster ways. There are already more complex reactions. Plants are the materialized representatives of the liquid world, the water element, vitality. This is what plants are. That which is their expression, their function, their role in the world. In the words of Steiner, through the world of plants, existence becomes alive. In the animal world, the relationship with the world becomes even more rapid and transformative. Animals manifest the closely linked pair of superficial movements, the displacing of the body and the manipulation of objects, and deep movement, the emotions, seeds of an inner psychic world. Animals, whose name comes from anima, meaning lively, vivid, are the materialized representatives of the gaseous world, the air element, emotion. This is what animals are, that which is their expression, their function, their role in the world. According to Steiner, through the animal world, existence comes to experience. With the human kingdom comes a capacity that literally turns the perception of the world upside down on itself. The intellect. A word that comes from the Latin intus and legere, meaning both to choose from and to collect within. Intelligence is a faculty that functions both as a mirror and as a stage. The human being, through intelligence, is like a surface that mirrors the superficial, sensory, material world, and through this reflection illuminates the deep, psychic, subtle world, and is also like a stage through which the deep, psychic, subtle world manifests itself in the superficial, sensory, material world. It seems to be this intermediary position that gives rise to the experience of the I, the experience of the opposition between I and the world. Existence seems to be not only out there in the things of the world, but also in here, in me. In a way, it is the intellect that provides the human experience of separation from a universe that, when we look at it closely, is undoubtedly interdependent and continuous. And it is the intellect that allows us to uncover the true names of things. Finally, through humanity, existence understands itself. But it is also the intellect that provides humanity with the quasi-cinematic and magical dream experience of a voluntary return, now deeply and intensely conscious, to union with the omnipresence and omnipotence of the universe. This epic journey of reunion is called the spiritual path. Consciousness, attention with intention and intention with attention, at the human level works by attuning, just like turning the frequency of a radio antenna or changing the channel on a television set. What the individual pays attention to gains an ever more defined, ever stronger presence, ever clearer and deeper details and essentialities are progressively revealed. As Elizabeth H. once put it, from observing one moves on to feeling, from feeling one arrives at being. This is how each human being becomes clothed in what it will call personality, the pieces of the world with which it will become identified, which accumulates. Initially, this identification is mostly unconscious, at the mercy of the instinctive inner forces and external circumstances into which we are born and in which we grow. It is an identification that is to some degree necessary, fundamental. It is the dressing up of instinctive survival tendencies, of gender, family, cultural and social characteristics, which provide the vehicle for the manifestation of the individuality in the world. It is the identification with and cultivation of a gender that creates the premises for the union that allows the species to propagate. It is the identification with and cultivation of certain areas of knowledge and action, that which allows the practice of, for example, medicine, agriculture, writing, scientific research, artistic activity. It is the identification with and cultivation of certain cultural ideas, that which allows the entire family, professional, social structure to move with this or that tendency. Unconscious conditioning is part of the natural flow of the evolution of consciousness. It is a fundamental condition for materialized existence. But the transcendence of the process of unconscious identification is also a natural and apparently inevitable part of the evolution of individuality. When the intellect becomes sufficiently developed, and when the inner impulse is strong enough, either because the individuality wants to fly as high as existence allows, or because suffering is too much to bear any longer, the most important and essential questions the human being can ask itself begin to emerge. What is this life? What is the I? What am I? What am I doing here? How do I function? How does the world function? Why am I happy or why do I suffer? What do I and this world want? This is the turning point. Individuality, consciousness, the center of being that we really are, breaks off with the complex, often confusing and chaotic, of accumulating identifications, that which we call personality, person. This word comes from the Greek persona, meaning mask, character, role. The human being is no longer comfortable with being tossed around like a leaf in a storm. It starts to investigate. It realizes that it has the power to choose, to say no to what serves no more, which may have been but is no longer functional, which is foolish because it causes suffering to oneself and to the world, and to say yes to what is ideal, to which makes oneself more functional, that which is wise because it brings joy and truth, goodness, elevation and beauty to oneself and the world. Progressively, the most superficial and instinctive identifications, unconsciously acquired, are voluntarily replaced by ever deeper and more conscious ones, according to the highest ideals that intelligence, love, and inner power can embrace. Fear, the struggle with the world, the unsustainable defense of the ego's illusion, dissolve to give way to joy, harmony, and cooperation with the universe that creates everything, sustains everything, and transforms everything. Until one day, say the sages who guide the world, even the most beautiful and subtle of identifications will dissolve into the timeless, spaceless ocean of calm, love, and bliss, which is the totality of the one absolute being, that which the Hindu sages called Satchitananda, existence, consciousness, bliss. It is simply about recognizing and freeing ourselves from the burdens that are no longer necessary. It's about making the consciousness subtler and more intense, to see more and more of the magic that has always been there, but blind eyes could not see. It's about learning and speaking the language of existence. It's about learning to fly. It is this awakening of intelligence, this expansion of consciousness, this voluntary diving ever more deeply and intensely into the truth and methods, the structure and functions of existence and the consciousness of existence. It is this making life ever more real, elevated, good and beautiful that is called the spiritual path. Whether you know it or not, you are on it. Whether you know it or not, it is in you. Whether you know it or not, that is what you are. The human being is life living the spiritual path. And no human being should have to abandon their present manifestation without at least once experiencing the light of electric, transparent, flying, unimaginable bliss that we know on our own authority to be our true self. There are many methods, many ways of journeying. They have been sought, researched, and outlined by the sages for as long as there have been human records. They have been transformed and adapted to the era, culture, and individual needs. But the archetype, the essence, it's always the same. It is devotion, love, and veneration for life. It is communication, communion, with ever vaster and deeper and subtler dimensions and beings of this infinite universe. It is self-knowledge, the search for what I am. It is the liberation given by living through the luminous presence of the spiritual heart. It is knowing, accepting, embracing, and letting be.